Welcome to Best Audiobooks. Today, we're diving into the powerful ideas behind Deep Work by Cal Newport, a book that could reshape the way you think about focus, success, and productivity. Introduction: The Power of Deep Work. In 1922, renowned psychiatrist Carl Jung constructed a quiet retreat in Bollingen, near Lake Zurich, not to escape work, but to deepen it. There, he wrote, meditated, and reflected without distraction. That solitude helped him develop analytical psychology, a field that would change the course of modern psychology. Jung's routine is a perfect example of deep work, the ability to focus intensely on challenging tasks without distraction. This kind of work pushes your mind to its limit, builds rare and valuable skills, and produces results that are hard to replicate. But in today's world, this ability is under siege. Constant emails, buzzing notifications, and the endless scroll of social media have splintered our attention. Most of us now operate in a state of shallow work, busy, distracted, and reactive. The kind of work that feels like you're doing a lot, but in reality creates very little value. Cal Newport argues that in the fast-paced knowledge economy, the true winners will be those who can master deep work. Why? Because it's becoming increasingly rare and yet more valuable than ever. Key concepts from Deep Work by Cal Newport. Deep work refers to professional, cognitively demanding tasks performed in a state of deep, distraction-free focus. It creates new value, enhances your skills, and is difficult to replicate, which makes it rare and powerful. This is the type of work that leads to breakthroughs, mastery, and real achievement. Shallow work includes low-effort, logistical tasks often done while distracted. It's easy to repeat, requires little concentration, and creates limited value. Examples include checking emails, attending routine meetings, and scrolling through social media, the kind of work that keeps you busy but not productive. The deep work hypothesis. Cal Newport presents a bold idea. The ability to perform deep work is becoming increasingly rare, at the same time it's becoming increasingly valuable. In other words, focus is the new currency. Those who can master deep work will hold a massive competitive and economic advantage over others. Modern challenges, hidden opportunities. In today's hyper-connected digital world, deep work is under attack. Constant pings, messages, notifications, and a culture of instant response have fractured our attention. Most knowledge workers now spend their days juggling shallow tasks, rarely getting the chance to think deeply. This not only erodes productivity, but also weakens the mind's ability to focus over time. Why deep work is a superpower. Cal Newport argues that fighting back against these distractions and intentionally cultivating deep work unlocks incredible personal and professional potential. If you can master this discipline, you'll be able to learn complex things quickly, produce work of exceptional quality, and consistently outperform your competition. In a world of noise, deep work is your edge. It's not just a productivity tactic, it's a philosophy for thriving in the knowledge economy. Jason Ben's story, from repetition to reinvention. Jason Ben began his career as a financial consultant, spending his days performing the same repetitive Excel tasks over and over again. One day, he realized something alarming. His job could be easily automated. The work he did, though busy, added very little real value. That realization shook him. But instead of settling for mediocrity, Jason made a bold decision to reinvent himself. He went all in. He cut himself off from distractions, locked himself in a room, and committed to learning computer programming from scratch through deep, focused effort. Within months, this discipline paid off. He not only completed a demanding coding boot camp, but excelled in it. His career trajectory shifted dramatically. From replaceable and routine, Jason became a skilled, in-demand professional with true economic value. His story is proof that deep work is not a relic of the past. It's a modern superpower, one that can completely transform your professional life. The author's journey, practicing what he preaches. Cal Newport doesn't just write about deep work, he lives it. As a theoretical computer scientist, Newport has achieved what many struggle to balance: publishing peer-reviewed academic papers, writing multiple best-selling books, earning a prestigious professorship, all while maintaining a healthy work-life balance and meaningful family time. His secret? Relentlessly minimizing distractions and prioritizing deep, focused work. For Newport, deep work isn't just a productivity strategy, it's the foundation of a fulfilling, impactful life. Core message of the book. At its heart, deep work delivers a simple yet powerful message. In a world full of shallow distractions, your ability to focus deeply is what sets you apart. Cultivating this discipline to engage in demanding, distraction-free thinking is no longer optional. It's essential for career growth, for intellectual development, and for a richer personal life. Newport invites readers to build their own Bollingen Towers, dedicated spaces or rituals that support deep focus, just as Carl Jung did a century ago. Because in the end, Newport reminds us of one eternal truth: a deep life is a good life. Chapter 1. Deep work is valuable. In today's fast-moving, digitally driven economy, only a few categories of people are truly thriving, and their stories reveal a deeper economic reality. Take Nate Silver, the master statistician behind 538. David Heinemeier Hansson, the creator of Ruby on Rails, and John Doerr, a venture capitalist behind companies like Google. All three represent what economists are calling the Great Restructuring, a shift where technology is rewriting the rules of the job market. According to MIT economists Eric Brynjolfsson and Andrew McAfee, digital tools and automation are disrupting traditional labor. Companies now prefer either machines that can do repetitive tasks faster than humans, or elite performers who deliver unmatched value through intellect, innovation, or capital. Who's winning in the new economy? High-skilled professionals like Nate Silver, who can interpret data and use advanced tools to create powerful insights. Superstars like David Hansson, whose rare talent can now be scaled globally thanks to remote work and digital collaboration. Owners of capital like John Doerr, who invest early in breakthrough technologies and reap exponential rewards. To succeed in this new world, you need to be in one of the first two categories, and both require mastering two rare and powerful abilities: the ability to learn hard things quickly, the ability to produce at an elite level, both in quality and speed. Why learning hard things is essential. While consumer tech like smartphones feels easy to use, the tools shaping the economy, such as data science platforms, AI engines, or advanced analytics software, are complex and demand serious effort to master. Take Nate Silver again. His reputation for accurate election forecasts is built on his deep understanding of statistical models and tools like Stata. This expertise didn't come from casual learning. It required deep concentration and persistent study. And it's not just tech jobs. Surgeons, engineers, yoga instructors all must adapt and grow constantly. If you can't learn difficult things quickly, your value declines. Why producing at an elite level matters. Being skilled isn't enough. You must be able to deliver high-impact results that are clearly superior. David Heinemeier Hansson didn't just learn to code, he created Ruby on Rails, the backbone of many major web applications. Nate Silver didn't just crunch numbers, he turned data into global influence. The truth is clear. If you don't consistently produce exceptional work, no amount of knowledge will matter. So what's the key to developing these abilities? Cal Newport makes the case. The foundation of both skills is deep work, the ability to focus your brain on hard tasks for extended periods free from distraction. Without deep work, it's nearly impossible to learn complex concepts quickly, or produce output at the elite level required to stand out today. Proof from psychology and neuroscience. As early as the 1920s, Dominican friar Antonin Delmas Sertalanges described deep focus as the secret to intellectual mastery, like sunlight concentrated through a lens. Modern science backs this up. Kay Anderson's research on deliberate practice shows that top performers grow through intense, focused effort, not just talent. Daniel Coyle in The Talent Code explains how focus builds myelin, a neural insulator that boosts skill speed and efficiency. And Sophie Leroy's research on attention residue shows how even brief distractions lower the quality of your next task. The message is clear. Deep, uninterrupted focus is the fastest path to mastery and productivity. Real-world example, Adam Grant. Professor Adam Grant of Wharton is one of the most productive academics alive. His secret? He batches his work into deep, focused sessions, writing papers, books, and research without interruptions. His formula, high-quality work equals time spent times intensity of focus. By minimizing distractions, he maximizes both the quantity and quality of what he produces. What about people like Jack Dorsey? Some might argue that deep work isn't necessary. Just look at Jack Dorsey, who ran both Twitter and Square. But Newport explains, executives like Dorsey are exceptions, not examples. Their job is to be interrupted, to make fast decisions across many inputs. Most people don't work like that. And if you're not in an executive role, constant interruption destroys your potential. Even in roles that seem fast-paced, like consulting or project management, making time for deep work can multiply impact. Key takeaways from Chapter 1. To succeed today, you must be able to master complex skills quickly, and that requires deep, focused effort. Elite-level productivity comes from minimizing task switching and practicing intense focus. Most professionals, from writers to engineers, can dramatically boost their value by building deep work habits. Only a small set of roles, like executive decision-making, thrive without deep work. For the rest of us, it's not optional, it's critical. In short, deep work is not a luxury. It's the foundation of success in today's distracted, competitive world. Chapter 2. Deep work is rare. Why businesses reject deep work. 1. The distraction paradox. In today's workplace, many companies adopt practices that directly undermine deep work, even though it's one of the most effective ways to improve performance. For example, open office spaces, like Facebook or Square, are meant to encourage collaboration and creativity, but in reality, they destroy focus. Constant noise and interruptions make deep thinking almost impossible. Instant messaging tools like Slack or IBM's Hall promise better communication, but they come at the cost of constant distractions. You're always on, never uninterrupted. Social media expectations force professionals, especially journalists and creatives, to stay visible online. But this visibility fragments their attention and makes producing meaningful work more difficult. The paradox is clear. While companies want results, they promote environments that make real focus, and thus great work, harder. 2. Why shallow work wins. The real issue isn't that deep work isn't useful, it's that most businesses don't know how to measure it. Newport calls this the metric black hole. In knowledge work, it's hard to track real output. You can't easily measure how much deep thinking someone did or how valuable that thinking was. Example: at Atlantic Media, Tom Cochran discovered that employees were spending over $1 million a year just managing emails. Figuring this out required complex analysis, and even then, it wasn't precise. Economist Thomas Piketty also noted that in high-level, knowledge-based jobs, it's difficult to pinpoint who is actually adding value, so businesses fall back on visible signals like fast email replies or busy calendars. 3. The result? A culture of shallow productivity. Because deep work is hard to measure and distractions are easier to manage, most workplaces promote behaviors that look productive but aren't. Reward people for being available rather than effective. Keep people busy but not brilliant. Why people gravitate toward distraction. 1. The principle of least resistance. People naturally choose what's easiest in the moment, especially when there's no immediate feedback showing that the easy path is the wrong one. Newport calls this the principle of least resistance. In business, when you don't know what really moves the needle, you'll just do whatever's easiest right now. A great example comes from a Harvard study at Boston Consulting Group. Employees were forced to disconnect from email for 1 full day each week. The results? Better work, happier teams, more focused communication, and stronger client deliverables. And yet, even with all that proof, most businesses still default to staying always connected because it's easier. Examples of shallow habits caused by this principle. Frequent meetings, easy to schedule, hard to make productive. Vague emails like thoughts, pushes the mental effort onto someone else. Inbox-driven workdays creates an illusion of busyness while avoiding hard thinking. 2. Busyness as a badge of honor. In the absence of clear ways to measure productivity, people use busyness as proof of value. We've all seen it. Fast email replies, attending every meeting, being always online, constant status updates. Newport calls this the busyness equals productivity myth. Case in point. In 2013, Yahoo CEO Marissa Mayer banned remote work because employees weren't logging into servers often enough. But just because someone isn't visible doesn't mean they're not doing meaningful work. People like Adam Grant at Wharton get more done than most, but you'd never see them online all the time. Why? Because they're focused on real output, not appearances. The internet culture problem. 1. The worship of all things online. Newport introduces us to Elisa Rubin, a Pulitzer-winning journalist at the New York Times. Despite her deep investigative reporting, she's expected to tweet constantly, even if it adds no value. Why? Because we now live in a technopoly, a culture where technology isn't just a tool, it's the ruling ideology. Media theorists like Neil Postman warned us about this, and thinkers like Evgeny Morozov explain that we've begun to worship the internet itself. Even logistics companies with no digital core now say things like us on Facebook. It's not about results, it's about appearing modern. 2. Why deep work doesn't fit the technopoly. Deep work requires rejection of constant connection. It values craftsmanship, quiet, and focus. But in a world obsessed with likes, notifications, and online presence, that seems outdated. There's little data to support deep work in corporate metrics, so it's ignored. Not because it lacks power, but because it doesn't fit the trend. 3. The hidden advantage. Here's the twist. While the world celebrates shallow work, deep work becomes more rare and more valuable. And that's your opportunity. Newport ends this section with a powerful insight. If you can cultivate deep work in a shallow world, you will have a superpower. Key lessons from Part 1, the idea. Deep work helps you learn complex things faster. It leads to higher quality, original results. It's under threat from workplace trends, the worship of tech, and a lack of proper metrics. But its rarity makes it your edge. Final insight. Don't embrace deep work because it's trendy. Embrace it because in a distracted world, focus is your competitive advantage. Chapter 3. Deep work is meaningful. Introduction, How to Train Your Brain for Depth. In Part 1, we learned why deep work is rare yet incredibly valuable. Now, in Part 2, Cal Newport moves from theory to action, offering practical tools to build a life centered around deep work. This part is like a brain training guide. It lays out 4 powerful rules that will help you break free from distractions, strengthen your focus like a muscle, eliminate shallow habits, and make deep work part of your daily routine. These aren't just motivational quotes. They're backed by neuroscience, real-world examples, and actionable steps to rewire your mind for elite-level thinking. Let's begin with Rule 1, work deeply, the cornerstone of all deep work. Rule 1, work deeply. Key idea. Deep work is difficult because our world is designed for distraction. To succeed, you must build systems that protect and train your focus like a muscle. 1. The willpower problem. Newport explains that willpower is like a battery. It drains as you make decisions, reply to emails, or battle distractions. That's why simply trying harder doesn't work. Instead, you need systems and environments that make deep work automatic. Example: trying to write a book in a loud mall will exhaust you quickly, but writing in a quiet cabin without devices makes deep focus almost effortless. Your environment matters more than willpower. 2. Rituals and routines, your deep work triggers. Rituals are powerful cues to your brain that it's time to focus. Design your own by answering: where will you work? How long will you work? How will you get started? How will you measure success? This reduces decision fatigue and builds consistent momentum. Example: J.K. Rowling booked a hotel suite to finish Harry Potter and the Death Hallows to escape all distractions. You can recreate this effect with a dedicated chair, playlist, or calendar block. 4. Make grand gestures. Big actions can boost focus and signal importance. Examples: Carl Jung built a retreat tower for thinking. Buy a flight just to write for 2 days. Delete all social media during a project. Book a cabin to finish a creative plan. These moves tell your brain, this matters. Focus now. 4. Don't work alone. Use the 4DX framework. Adapted from the 4 disciplines of execution, this approach keeps deep work on track. WIG, wildly important goal. Choose one meaningful goal. Lead measures, track how much time you spend in deep work. Scoreboard, use visual tracking, e.g. calendar check marks. Accountability, report your deep work time weekly to someone, or even to yourself. Gamifying deep work boosts motivation and consistency. 5. Be lazy, why downtime matters. Newport makes a bold claim: rest is critical to deep work. Why? It recharges your mind, it promotes unconscious insights, it improves your resistance to distractions. Newport ends his workday at 5:30 p.m. and uses a ritual. I shut down my computer, I say out loud, shut down complete, then I stop thinking about work. This habit signals your brain to rest so it can go deep again tomorrow. Summary of rule number 1. Willpower isn't enough. Build systems. Use rituals and routines. Make bold gestures to trigger focus. Track deep work time and build accountability. Embrace rest as part of your productivity strategy. Chapter 4. Rule number 2. Embrace boredom. Introduction. How to train your brain to embrace boredom. Imagine you're waiting in a coffee shop line for just 60 seconds. Do you A. Pull out your phone to scroll Instagram, or B. Just stand still and let your thoughts wander? Most people instinctively go for option A. Why? Because we've trained our brains to fear boredom. Cal Newport argues this is one of the biggest obstacles to deep work. In today's world of pings, swipes, and instant content, our brains have forgotten how to be still. But here's the truth. Deep work and distraction cannot coexist. This chapter isn't just about turning off your phone. It's about retraining your mind to resist instant gratification and reclaim the mental stillness that deep focus requires. You'll learn why the brain craves novelty and how that ruins concentration, what attention residue is and how it destroys focus, why scheduling distractions is more effective than avoiding them, how walks without your phone can become your best thinking time. 1. Why you must train your brain to handle boredom. We fill every spare moment with stimulation, red lights, cues, even short walks. But this damages our attention span. Your brain, like a muscle, weakens without exercise. If it's used to constant switching, it loses the power to stay focused. Example: a student studies for 15 minutes, checks their phone just for a second, and falls into a scroll. When they return to their task, part of their mind is still elsewhere. This is attention residue. To build focus, you must unlearn your escape from boredom. Focus is a trainable skill. Cal Newport stresses that focus is not a gift, it's a skill. Like muscles, it strengthens with deliberate practice. That means resisting the urge to check your phone, staying on task even when bored, gently returning to focus when distracted. Quote, "Efforts to deepen your focus will struggle if you don't simultaneously wean your mind from a dependence on distraction." Exercise. Try writing or problem solving for 30 minutes without breaks. Each time your mind wanders and returns, it grows stronger. 3. Schedule your distractions. Instead of trying to resist distractions all day, schedule them. How? Pick specific times. Example, 12:30 p.m. and 6 p.m. to check email, social media. If you can stay present through boredom, you're mastering the skill of depth. Waiting in line? Don't touch your phone. Let your mind be still. We don't escape discomfort with stimulation anymore. This is how monks train their minds and how deep thinkers protect their attention. You don't need to live in a monastery, but if you can sit 5 minutes in silence, you're already ahead of most people. This conditions your brain to earn its dopamine. Analogy: a dog that gets a treat only when it sits patiently. Your brain can learn the same discipline. 4. Use productive meditation. Productive meditation equals thinking deeply while doing something simple. Example, walking, showering. How to do it? Pick a professional problem. Go for a walk or do a light chore. When your mind drifts, bring it back to the problem. Newport uses this technique often while walking, treating ideas like breath in meditation. It strengthens focus. 5. Beware of attention residue. Attention residue is a hidden threat to deep work. When you switch tasks without finishing the first, part of your attention stays stuck. Even a quick email check can derail full focus. Example, you're writing, check WhatsApp quickly, and return, but your mind is still half in that chat. Insight: even small interruptions can significantly reduce your cognitive capacity. Solution: treat deep work like sacred time. No switching, no checking, no tab hopping. 6. The goal: learn to be bored. Use productive meditation to build mental strength. Guard your focus from attention residue. If you can tolerate boredom, you can master deep work. Summary of rule number 2. Embrace boredom. Attention is a skill. Train it deliberately. Resisting boredom weakens focus. Schedule distractions rather than resisting them all day. Outside those windows, no peeking. Chapter 5. Rule #3. Quit social media. Imagine a brilliant artist who paints in silence with focus and deep reflection. Now imagine that same artist checking their phone every 5 minutes. Would the painting ever be finished? Maybe not. Would it even begin? Probably not. That's exactly what Cal Newport wants us to understand in this rule. Social media isn't evil, but no tool deserves your time unless it truly serves your life or work. We've been led to believe that to stay relevant or connected, we must be on every platform: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. But Newport flips the question. Don't ask what social media gives you, ask what it's taking away from you. This chapter invites us to think like a skilled craftsperson, using only the tools that improve our craft and leaving the rest behind. Part 1. Addiction or tool for progress. Imagine you're a painter, creating something powerful. If you interrupt yourself every 5 minutes, your flow breaks and the masterpiece fades. Cal Newport reminds us, you owe no tool your time unless it makes your life better. Just because something is popular doesn't mean it's necessary. The real question is, does it help you go deeper in your work, or does it pull you away from what really matters? Part 2. The any benefit mindset, the hidden trap. Most people think, if this tool helps me in any way, I should keep it. This is what Newport calls the any benefit mindset, and it's dangerous. Even if a tool wastes 90% of your time, if it occasionally provides a benefit, you justify keeping it. But this mindset drains your mental energy. It's like carrying a heavy toolbox filled with tools you'll never use, just because they might help someday. Meanwhile, they're slowing you down. Part 3. Freedom or slavery? Newport asks, does this tool serve your goals or steal your focus? We should treat digital tools like a master carpenter treats saws. Only use what improves the work. Just because everyone's using something doesn't mean you have to. This is not about fear or rejection. It's about selective, intentional use. Part 4. Real-life examples. George Packer, award-winning writer at The New Yorker, once said, "Twitter is a toxic distraction. If I get hooked, my child might go hungry." He said this while writing The Unwinding, which later won the National Book Award. Tom Cochran, former CTO of Atlantic Media, discovered his company spent over $1 million a year just in emails and messages, time that could have gone into high-value work. These are people who realized how silently and consistently these platforms rob attention and creativity. Part 5. The Craftsman's Philosophy. Newport introduces a powerful idea. Don't use a tool just because it's useful. Use it only if it plays a critical role in your success. This is the craftsman's approach to tool selection. A woodworker doesn't own every tool, just the right ones. Likewise, you don't need every app. Choose wisely. Part 6. The 30-day social media test. Cal Newport offers a clear, empowering challenge. Deactivate or delete all your social media accounts for 30 days. Observe your life. Do you feel anxious? Are you actually missing anything important? Or are you gaining time, peace, and focus? After 30 days, only return to platforms that clearly support your core values and goals. This isn't about quitting forever. It's about regaining your power. Final thoughts. Take back control of your attention. This rule reminds us of something profound. Your attention is your most valuable asset. Social media doesn't steal your money. It steals your focus, energy, and depth. When you remember that you are not the product, and these tools are optional, not essential, you reclaim your strength. Don't let the world decide what tools you need. Choose your tools. Choose your life. Chapter 6. Rule 4. Drain the shallows. Introduction. The Invisible Time Thief. Take a moment and think back to your last workday. How much time did you spend in meetings, answering emails, checking messages, scrolling, or doing quick little tasks? Probably most of it. Cal Newport calls this kind of activity shallow work, the kind that feels like you're doing something but rarely moves the needle forward. Shallow work is low value, low focus, and low return. It's the biggest reason why people stay busy, but not productive. In this final rule, Newport doesn't just tell you to avoid shallow work. He shows you how to drain it from your schedule, reclaim your time, and build a life that prioritizes deep, meaningful progress. What is shallow work? Shallow work includes checking and replying to emails, attending unproductive meetings, scrolling through dashboards or notifications, administrative tasks that don't require deep thought. It's work that can be done while distracted, produces little long-term value, doesn't push your skills or creativity. Newport's message is clear. If your day is full of shallow work, you'll never reach elite performance. The core idea: Time is your most precious resource. Your day has a limited number of deep work hours, usually no more than 4 to 5 for even the best thinkers. If you let shallow work eat up those hours, you're sacrificing your best thinking at the altar of busyness. The key to deep work is not doing more, it's doing less, better. Strategy 1. Schedule every minute of your day. This sounds intense, but it's life-changing. Here's the method. At the start of your day, or the night before, block your time into 30-minute chunks. Assign each block a task, deep or shallow. Adjust during the day, but always be intentional. Why this works. You become hyper-aware of how your time is spent. You reduce time leaks from distraction and randomness. You learn to protect your deep work hours like treasure. Bonus tip: leave overflow time to handle the unexpected. Flexibility is fine. Aim is control, not rigidity. Strategy 2. Quantify the depth of every task. Ask yourself, how much focus does this task really require? Rate your tasks on a shallow to deep scale and prioritize accordingly. This simple question helps you cut or automate the truly shallow, batch low-focus work into small time blocks, protect your brain power for deep, high-impact projects. Strategy 3. Ruthlessly minimize shallow work. You can't eliminate all shallow work, but you can shrink it. Here's how. Say no more often, especially to meetings and vague requests. Set expectations with your team. You don't reply instantly, and that's okay. Create office hours for low-priority conversations or emails. Being less available makes you more valuable. If you don't manage your availability, the shallow world will invade your focus like weeds in a garden. Strategy 4. Ask your boss for a shallow work budget for employees. If you're in a traditional job, Newport recommends having a candid talk with your manager. Here's how I define deep versus shallow work. How much time do you want me to spend on each? This creates alignment, builds trust, and gives you permission to protect your deep work time without guilt. You'll likely discover that your boss wants results, not replies, and respects your intention to do meaningful work. Strategy 5. Finish work by 5:30 p.m. This might sound impossible, but it's powerful. Newport ends his workday at 5:30 p.m., no exceptions. Why? It forces him to plan deeply focused work during the day. It trains his brain to work with intensity. It guards his evenings for rest, reflection, and family. If you don't set a hard stop, your work will bleed into your life and weaken both. You don't need to copy his exact schedule, but setting boundaries helps you respect your time and energy. Final insight: shallow work will always creep back in. Distraction is patient. Shallow work is sneaky. Even after setting systems, you'll feel the pull of busy work again and again. The solution? Stay vigilant. Revisit your schedule weekly. Audit your time monthly. Recommit daily. Every minute you reclaim from shallowness is a minute you reinvest into mastery. Summary of Role 4. Shallow work is dangerous because it feels like progress, but it's not. Schedule every hour of your day to protect deep work time. Learn to say no to low-value meetings, messages, and tasks. Negotiate your deep-shallow balance with your manager if needed. Use boundaries, like ending work at 5:30, to force discipline and preserve rest. Remember, deep work builds your future. Shallow work just fills your inbox. Conclusion: a focused life and conversational. The Bill Gates story. More than just genius. We all know the legend. Winter 1974. A young Harvard student named Bill Gates sees the Altair, the world's first personal computer, on the cover of Popular Electronics. Instantly, he senses the future. He drops everything. Along with Paul Allen and Monty Davidoff, he writes a version of BASIC for the Altair in just a few weeks. Most people say, wow, what brilliance, what foresight. But Cal Newport reveals something deeper. Gates's superpower wasn't just genius, it was his ability to go deep. He would focus for hours, coding until he fell asleep on the keyboard, then wake up and keep going. Paul Allen called it a prodigious feat of concentration. Walter Isaacson wrote, "What set Gates apart wasn't intelligence, it was focus. He was a serial obsessor." Not a moral argument, but a practical one. In today's world of constant pings, feeds, and distractions, some complain and some surrender. Newport does neither. He doesn't say deep work is morally better. He says it's practically essential. In a distracted world, the ability to focus is a superpower. Gates didn't build Microsoft by being on Twitter. He built it by locking in on what mattered and staying there. Newport's personal proof. Cal Newport didn't just write about deep work, he lived it. As a PhD student, he published 2 academic papers a year without working evenings or weekends. But when he became a professor, life got hectic. Teaching, admin, family. He feared he couldn't keep up. So he doubled down on depth. He refused to work at night, took long midday walks to reset his brain, wrote so good they can't ignore you during his busiest stretch, found silent hideouts to think, like an obscure music library dome, bought a fancy notebook just to make his thinking feel deliberate. The result? His productivity doubled while working less. The year of extreme depth. Then came his 3rd year at Georgetown. He was writing deep work, raising a new baby, teaching, and recovering from a major grant rejection. Most would crack. Newport went deeper. He made a decision. Let my work speak for me. He eliminated shallow meetings, worked in complete isolation, tracked every deep hour, solved problems while walking, commuting, and even shoveling snow. That year, while raising a toddler and writing a book, he published 9 peer-reviewed papers and still never worked evenings. He calls it his year of extreme depth. It was hard, but it proved a powerful truth. Deep work is stronger than most people realize. From the busy life to the deep life. Busyness is easy. Depth is brave. It's easy to stay in the shallow, scroll, reply, look busy. But those who choose depth, who face the discomfort, the silence, the struggle, build things that matter. They make breakthroughs. They create legacy. Depth is not just work, it's a way of living. Final words. The focused life wins. Cal Newport ends with a quote from Winifred Gallagher. "I'll live the focused life because it's the best kind there is." Bill Gates lived that life. Newport lives that life. And now you've seen why it matters. Will you choose it? One-line takeaway. Deep work isn't just a skill, it's a philosophy. It gives you your power back, your time, your purpose, your peace. And in a noisy world, that's the ultimate advantage.